Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Shabbat services tonight. It's pretty gross out there, huh? Are we like, could this be like a February thaw and it like doesn't get like wintry again? Or is that what we're dealing with? I think so too. I remember like three years ago, it all melted in March, and then it didn't really get wintry again after that. But like I don't know. I guess for me, it's like better to pretend that maybe we are in like some kind of breakup, just because it's so hard to deal with the back and forth. That winter's coming back. I wouldn't mind winter coming back for the skiing. I really miss the skiing. So the trails right now are horrible. So that would be exciting. All right. Well, we're gonna get started. I have no singer today, so you guys are gonna have to suffer through me singing the services. So good luck with that. This harkens back to before we had any singers. So I guess we're doing good when it comes to singing usually. But anyway, so I'm gonna actually invite Brenda and family up to light the Shabbat candles. So I'm just go up here and do it. Well, oh yeah, clever.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who powers us with the mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you, Brenda and Ella. That was beautiful. Appreciate it. All right. Let's move into our prayer books now. We're on page, I believe, 128. Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Move over to Lechado D on page 138. And tonight we're going to recite paragraphs 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we come to paragraph 9, I encourage you all to stand up and face the entrance as we greet the Shabbat bride. Lechado di likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmei anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad l'shem letiferet ve'litila. Lechado di likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki hi mekora habracha Merosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh Bechmash V'chad Tichila Lecha Dodi Likra Kailai Lalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likra Kailai Lalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Hitori and a hitori kiva ore kumi ori uri ashir daberi kevod Adonai alik negila lecha dodi likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'smicha u'b'tola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kailai lalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We're going to go to Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Baruchuni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seichem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Move over to page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkada shemei rabba be'elma divrach yotev yamlik malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon u'pcherechol beit Yisrael ba'gala uvizman kariv v'imru amen Yehei shmei rabba mevarak Layala mula me'al mayam yitbarach v'yishtabak v'pa'ar v'pramam v'yitnasem v'tadar v'tale v'talam shemei kudusha b'richu v'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran Vilma Vimaru. Amen. Now we turn to the Barku on page 146, and when you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. Lie, 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 Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach. may be seated. Now let's turn to page 149, and I'd love it if we could read together top of that page in the English. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sails of the stars. The creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its source for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Here now in the English, towards the bottom of page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a better token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Okay, for our Shema, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to sing the Shema together as a community, as a whole, of course. We're going to sing Baruch Shem silently to ourselves. And before we go to Via Hafta, we're going to have a few minutes of like reflection and meditation. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kivod Malechuto, Leolam Va'ed. One, 5, 4. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meyodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher nochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha b'shinartam levarnecha b'divartam ba'am b'shitecha b'veitecha b'techa ha'vaderech Ushof becha uvkumecha, ukshartam leyot al yadecha, v'hayu totafot beinenecha, uktabtam al mizuzo betecha, uvisharecha, lema'an tiskeru b'sitem et chol mitzvotai, v'tem kiroshim leiloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotziti etchem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem leElohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Move over to 158 from Micha Mocha. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'dar ba'kodesh, no ra tehilot osei fele, no ra tehilot osei fele, Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Now move to page 162, Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat v'lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat v'lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. B'nei Uvein, B'nei Yisrael, B'nei Yisrael, Oti leolam, V'shamru B'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berito lam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. We now move into the Amidah on page 164. When you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. Adonai sefatai tita u'iragi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tita u'iragi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotzeinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Ha'gibor B'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem L'man Shemo Yahal Melech Ozer V'Mashiach V'Lakim Baruch Atah Adonai Magid Avraham Eras Avraham Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Yoshida Mashiv Haruach U'Marich HaGashem Mechalkei HaChaim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim B'Rofei Tolim U'Magir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato L'Shenei Avar Michal V'Chapal Gilros U'Midom Elah Melech Menit U'Mechayem U'Masmir Yeshua V'Ne'eman Atah L'Chayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol. We're not going to continue silently until page 180. You may be seated whenever you like. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael. Vimru. Vimru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael. Vimru. Vimru. Amen. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Okay, I'm not going to say some words of Torah. So 2 weeks ago, I was in my wife's hometown of Astoria in Oregon. And well, yes, Astoria is famous for a couple of things. Goonies, for example, also Kindergarten Cop. I believe the town's greatest achievement is actually the Astoria Bridge. It's a huge and beautiful bridge that crosses the Columbia River and connects Oregon with Washington. I really marvel at its engineering achievement as this incredibly large bridge eclipses the whole town. And if you're really into bridges, I highly recommend you go to Western Oregon and Washington. There's lots of great bridges there. But great building projects, like the Astoria Bridge, are often bigger than the sum of their parts. Building engineering marvels require so much that only a civilization can really pull it off. These great works are only possible if people have the time and resources to specialize their talents and learn from their experiences. Civilizations offer this capacity through stability, accessibility, and safety. But it takes time to grow a people into a civilization. In this week's Torah portion, we watch as a people freshly freed from Egypt become a civilization for themselves. In fact, it's a building project itself that turned these wandering people into the civilization of Israelites. Adonai commands the first building project, the Mishkan, a tent of worship. This project paves the way for a special relationship with Adonai and a special kind of civilization for the Israelites. And the Israelites are ready. I don't necessarily mean that they are ready to work. They are ready to be and to do something bigger than themselves. They're ready to accomplish something powerful, incredible, and meaningful. Adonai is not just demanding a place to be worshiped. Adonai is offering an opportunity for a people to communicate, collaborate, and cooperate so they can feel a part of something greater than themselves. They feel prepared to accomplish this building project. They're ready to build a Mishkan. And an incredibly touching and poetic moment, the Torah refers to these individuals as wise-hearted. Let all the wise-hearted among you come and make all that Adonai has commanded, says the Torah. And I believe this is what is required to build anything greater than oneself, a heart full of wisdom. These wise-hearted individuals are the artisans and skilled workers who help put the Mishkan together. They are the dreamers, the pioneers, the artists, the believers, and the planners. They're also the people who offer what they own as gifts to be turned into materials to build the Mishkan. Their capacity to offer themselves and share what they own for a greater good is worth more than money. Their wise hearts is the wisdom to acknowledge that their skills and their objects can be of service of something that's greater than themselves. And as the Israelites come together to build the Mishkan, they teach us how we come together to build a community. Communities, like great building projects, are the achievements of civilizations. Stability, accessibility, and safety are all required for a community to even begin. And these are the values that Adonai conveyed to the Israelites during their time wandering in the wilderness. Adonai knew that even the greatest of buildings can crumble through time or war. And so Adonai sought to teach the Israelites that community is powerful enough to outlast the thickest of walls. The Torah conveys their wandering as a kind of punishment, but I have only seen it as preparation. How can a people create a civilization that outlasts its buildings, its borders, even its language? Wandering through the wilderness, the Israelites were taught these lessons. And just as we are taught, just as we are the progeny of our patriarchs and our matriarchs, we are the destiny of the wandering lessons discovered in the wilderness. And while our own society has countless examples of impossible building projects, with more seemingly always on the way, they were never the pinnacle achievement of our civilization. I believe that what we build as a community is a sacred work that building projects are attempting to imitate. In Egypt, we saw what it takes to construct buildings. The Israelites were enslaved to build whole cities of warehouses. In the Torah, Adonai directs us, this is not the way we build. We don't build with whips on our backs, but with wisdom in our hearts. The requirement for a civilization that defies time is not a foundation built in the ground, but a foundation built with wise hearts. And this is what our Torah teaches us. This is what we as Jews have to offer. We discovered the power of community as we lost and as we suffered. And from these difficult lessons, we learned that what we could accomplish, what no building could, perseverance. We have outlasted the greatest of ancient civilizations and most of their building projects. We discovered that wandering does not mean being lost, and we learned that hearts full of wisdom can guide us through any crisis. So as Omicron begins to wind down, I ask that our community continue the sacred work that our wandering ancestors started. We need more volunteers, people with wise hearts to help continue Judaism into the future. We have our own projects that could use your wisdom, projects like Shining Lights, Music and Memory, and Holiday Planning. I see a bright future for our community, not just because of what we can accomplish, but for the wisdom we will get to share on the way. It's my hope that our work, much like the Astoria Bridge, will eclipse the very city it connects. So I encourage you to reach out to us through email or through our website to help us continue our sacred work. And of course, those wise-hearted people who have been helping us this whole time, you've been keeping alive the greatest gift a civilization can offer, our community. Thank you. We now move on to the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing on page 371. And of course, we think about our own community members who are in need of healing. But we also think about the Ukrainians who are in need of healing right now as well. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We move now to the Elenu on page 587 of our prayer books. Once you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. We turn to the top of page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. May we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo We now turn to the Mourner's Kosh on page 598 of your prayer books. And in our own community, we're thinking about these yard sites this week. Estelle Alexander, Joseph Bruno, Ruben Kalanoff, Dora Karen, Patty Facklewitz, and Joseph Lazur. If there's anyone who you were thinking of, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts. Zikunom Livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Yit Gedal, Yit Gedash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'elma Divrach, Riote, V'yamlik Malchute, V'chayechon, U'vyamechon, U'cherechol Beit Yisrael, Be'agala U'vizman Kari V'imru, Amen. Yehesh Me Rabbah Mevarak Le'olam U'lomei Almaya, Yit Barak V'yishtabak V'yit Pa'ar V'yitramam V'yit Naseh, V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemei Kudasha Barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'elma v'imru. Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleni v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleni v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. Okay, now time for announcements. Tomorrow we have our text study starting at 10:30, and then we have a very special Torah Uncensored. We have a guest lecturer, Rabbi Stacy Peterson, and she's going to talk about sota with us, which is very controversial in the Bible. So, anyways, if you're sota. Yeah, I don't even think I can explain it here without making people upset. Yeah, it is Torah Uncensored, so it's religious school for adults. You know what I mean? But essentially, it has to do with how the Bible treats women, especially women who might have affairs. So, anyways, please come for Torah Uncensored, religious school for adults. If you're a member, you can sign up for free online. So, okay, so we got that going on. We have a morning minyan every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on our Zoom room. Next week, we have a special Shabbat. It's a highest Shabbat, so it's going to be our immigration Shabbat, and we have a special guest speaker who is I think she's executive director of Reyes here in town, so please come for that. And we have Purim coming up, believe it or not. And so it looks like we're going to do a program we're calling Drive Through Purim, where our idea is that, anyone who forgot how to drive to the synagogue, they can remind themselves how. And they're going to come through and we're going to drive through, and we'll give you like a little gift and take a picture of your costume. And that's how we're going to do Purim this year. There'll be more information about it soon, but Drive Through Purim is what we're calling it this year. So that's our compromise, our COVID compromise, if you will. And that's all I got for now. Am I forgetting anything? Great. Okay. There you go. Well, thank you for coming. And we're going to do a closing melody now. We're going to do Ozi with Zimrat Yah, not one this community knows very well. It's on page 647 of your prayer books. It has two parts. I'll kind of teach it. So the first part goes like this. It goes. It's at the very bottom, by the way. Ozi v'zimrat Yah v'yahili lishua. You see that like 2 times, then it goes into Ozi v'zimrat Yah v'yahili lishua. Do that twice, back to the other part. That's how it works. I'm sure you'll get it along the way. Here we go. Ozi v'zimrat Yah v'yahili lishua. 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 Shabbat shalom.